down the middle. The red slipcovers with the Eternal Slumber logo embroidered on the back were neatly tied on the chairs. I walked around to all the windows and fluffed out the baby blue floor-to-ceiling drapes. "Emily," Mary Anna called me and turned around. The red lipstick almost took away from her white Daisy Duke shorts and red and white gingham button-down that was tied in a knot at her belly button. "I'm done. I've got to get back down to the shop." She unbuttoned the first 4 buttons of her shirt and let the girls bust out. "Business is slow." She stuck her hand in her bra and shimmied them things up to her chin. "I've got to call in backup." I laughed and waved by, shaking my head with each twist of her hips. I could only imagine what she looked like walking down the sidewalk to Girls' Best Friend Spa, the only salon in Sleepy Hollow, Kentucky, our little slice of heaven among the caves and caverns. I ran my hand down my brown hair. It was time I get a highlight and a new cut. It was time I did a lot of things, like come back to the living. A little piece of me died with Charlotte Ray. Yeah, like every sibling, Charlotte Ray and I had our fair share of disagreements. We never saw things the same way, and at the very end it was a shame, because it was only then that she truly knew who I really was. Today wasn't the day to get sad or depressed. The visitor log had to be put out on the stand, and the memorial cards needed to be stacked. Meow. I looked down when I felt the orange tabby cat's tail drag along my shin. "Hey, kitty." I bent down and put my hand out. "Here, kitty, kitty." It was the closest the cat had ever gotten to me. "Wait, doggy, it's hot in here. I'm about to burn up." Granny scurried through the front door of the funeral home. Not as hot as the cleavage of Mary Anna's boobs, but still hot. She dragged off her big purple sunglasses and focused her eyes on me. She glared at me like I'd better straighten up or she was going to jerk a knot in me. "Granny." I stood up and put my arms out to walk over to give her a hug. She completely bypassed me and looked into the viewing room. Her spiky red-haired head twisted right, left, and around before she jerked her 5 feet 4 inch frame back over to me. She smacked her palm on my forehead. "You got the trauma?" She gave me the wonky eye. "No." I took a step back. "I'm fine." I crossed my heart. Technically, I didn't lie. I didn't have what Doc Clyde called the funeral trauma. 2 years ago this Christmas, I had walked down to Artie's Meat and Deli to get me and Charlotte Ray a soup and sandwich for lunch. All the Christmas decorations were up, and Artie had put a plastic Santa on the roof of the deli. It was particularly warm for a December day in Kentucky, which helped melt the snow. As soon as I walked up to the deli, the Santa fell off the roof and knocked me out cold. When I woke up a few days later in the hospital, I was surrounded by family and clients. Let me clarify, the clients were dead ones. Ones I'd put 6 feet into the ground, only they'd not crossed over. I'd mentioned to Doc Clyde that I could see them, and he claimed I had what was called the funeral trauma, and I'd been around dead people too long. In reality, Santa had given me a gift not on my list, the title of Betweener, the gift of seeing dead people. Really, dead, murdered people that needed me to help bring their killer to justice. Fast forward a couple of years to now, and I've still got Betweener clients. The cat was my first animal client, and it had been around for at least a year now. The chime of the old grandfather clock that sat in the corner of the foyer chimed. There were only 30 minutes until showtime. "You were looking awfully strange when I walked into the door with your hand out. You might not have thought I heard you, but I heard you call for a kitty." Granny pointed into the viewing room. "There's no kitty in there. Just Shelley Shaw, who's going to melt if you don't get something done about this humidity." "Here, Mr. Whiskers. Here, kitty." The ghost of the young girl that had come on the day of Charlotte Ray's funeral reappeared out of nowhere. She twirled her pigtail around her finger. "Remember me? You said you'd help me cross over." Chapter 2. "I don't understand why you don't talk to me." The ghost